two-a-days, and that was a crazy time. I had to leave camp and go home, and there was a lot to, deal with. And I just remember being at the funeral home, and those are tough moments, right? We've all probably been in a situation like that. And those are tough moments. You're trying to do an obituary, and then the funeral home people are doing their job, and you got it's a lot of stuff to deal with. And the guy says, hey, I would ask you something. And we'll probably need a decision pretty soon, And he's like, would you like to have your father's thumbprint? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, we make a charm, a little locket, with your dad's thumbprint. We'll probably need to decide that here pretty soon. I'm like, well, yeah. And I started going, okay, here's his sisters, my brothers. I'm like, yeah, we'll take 8, And I'm like, and I never thought about it again, not 1 second. And those of you who were around here that year in 15. Remember how much build-up there was for that game, right? There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of, we had like a 16-day layoff. I think that was about right. Remember, we went on like the last play at Louisville, and it was like a 16-day layoff, and we're 12, they're 6. And it was one of those games, if you win, you're going to really, have a chance to get on the wave. And then there's a hurricane, and you're probably not going to be able to throw the ball. It's going to be a crazy, crazy game. And it was just a lot. And I remember Friday, before the game, I was literally in my coat and tie, walking out of the house, and got my briefcase, got my suitcase. I'm heading to the truck, and Kath comes running in, and she says, I don't know if Kath's in here? I don't know, there she is. Kath comes running in, and she's kind of got tears in her eyes, and she's like, hey, you're not going to believe what was in the mailbox. I'm like, what? I haven't thought about it. And it was my dad's thumbprint. My dad's thumbprint. And it was kind of a cool moment. And I was just one of those, I think that God winks at us, God bear hugs us, God body slams us, and that was one of those bear hug moments for me where I didn't really know how it would play, but I knew we were going to win that game. I don't know how to explain that. And that's why I was so emotional after that game. Because I just really, I missed him, and I knew he wanted to be there. And then today, I was thinking about that. So, yeah, that's the first time I've ever brought my dad with me, if you will. So I brought that little thumbprint, a little locket, and so my dad knew Frank Howard. I told you all that. I met my dad and mom, had dinner multiple times with Frank Howard. In fact, Bobby Hayes, this guy, Bobby, wave your hand. This guy back here has not been to a game in, I don't know, a couple of years. Had been to a game this year. And Bobby and Judy about half raised me as well. And Bobby was the head of the SWAT team for years and years and years in Birmingham. Kind of cool that he's here because, so Bobby was the head of the SWAT team, and in those days, Birmingham, Alabama, even when I was there, we would play in Legion Field a lot in Birmingham. Alabama-Auburn game was always in Birmingham. And Frank Howard would always go to the game. They'd have Big Thursday, and then Coach Howard would head off. And Bobby was in charge of all the detail for Coach Bryant. And Coach Bryant and Coach Howard were great friends. And they, and times were different back then, right? And so Bobby's job was to make sure that Coach Bryant, Coach Howard, could get together and hang out for a little bit, and then, Coach Bryant had to get ready for the game. And y'all all know Coach Howard was a character, and he would come into town, and Bobby would take care of him, and Judy. And Bobby and Judy multiple times invited my mom right there, my mom and dad, to go to the game. They would invite them, and Bobby would get them parking and whatever. And I've got a picture in my office of my mom and dad having dinner with Frank Howard. And then later on in life, I was probably about 10, I guess. My dad had a surprise party at the Holiday Inn there in Hoover. It was big time. You get the party room at the Holiday Inn, and Bobby, he was Mayor Hayes. He also became the mayor of Pelham for 25 years or whatever it was. but Bobby brought Frank Howard to my mom's birthday party, and that's when I had a chance to meet Coach Howard. So kind of crazy, you know, really how God orchestrates things and works things out, and really kind of cool that Bobby and Judy are here today too. So it's really neat.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Dabo.